Hi, I'm Tammy, and I am the Keto Cricket. Alrighty, today we are going to make some eggplant lasagna. So this recipe will take some time. So this is a great recipe for the weekends, or if you have a little bit more time in the morning, maybe you woke up early, that you can kind of get it started. The reason for that is because we need to actually dry the eggplant out so that it doesn't just create a pool of water in our lasagna. So I actually prefer this lasagna over regular pasta noodles, but I've shared before, I think I wasn't a real big bread or pasta eater to start with, and in fact I really didn't like pasta that much, so I wasn't like, ooh, yum, spaghetti, and what everybody else was. I was like, oh, okay, we're having spaghetti. So so just kind of to be fair, that's just my opinion. So when the first time I had eggplant lasagna, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. It's a weird looking vegetable, but it is really delicious. So you want to get all the peels off because these are really rubbery. And always wash your vegetables because you just never know how many people have touched your vegetable, because that's gross. Go ahead and just slice our eggplant. I have a mandolin here. This is a Pampered Chef one. It's the old school style, which I prefer. But you could do it by hand, and if you have great knifing skills, then, you know, have at it. I can't cut straight to save my life. Of eggplant. So the next step in our process is going to be simply to lay our eggplant out on, you can do just a pan. I'm using this nice big cutting board just for ease of use. And you basically are just going to lay it all out flat. Alrighty. Once you have that, you are going to salt it. The salt is important to help bring the excess moisture out of the eggplant. So you salt liberally. We're not going to put any more salt in the recipe, and then you just do it again. And I like to put a heavy pan. I have some heavy stones. You could do another cutting board and then lay some pots on it if you want. But I like to lay something heavy on it again just to kind of help. Okay, so it's about 4 hours later, and I actually didn't come and switch it out like I normally do. I just left it for the 4 hours, honestly, because I was busy at work. And I think that's okay, because you can kind of tell if you do the same, you get caught up in what you're doing. So you can kind of see what it does with the eggplant. And I don't know if you can tell, but that is just soaked. So we are going to actually do the same thing all over again. So I'm going to pick up the eggplant, and I'm going to remember which side, because I'm going to flip it over when I put it back. Eggplant is over there chilling out, we are going to go ahead and do our sauce. I like to use the diced tomatoes rather than the tomato sauce because it's more likely just to have more just natural products, just the tomatoes in it, instead of other stuff that I don't really want. I want to add my own seasonings. I'm going to do about half of this. So this is a 20 ounce, and you can just buy the smaller jars. This is just kind of what I had. Sometimes I'll take half of this and blend it so that it makes its own tomato sauce, and then leave some of it chunky. Today I'm just going to leave it all chunky. just for reasons. Laziness, honestly, that's my reason. So we're gonna add some olive oil. That's 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we're gonna do a tablespoon of garlic powder. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. This is just the Great Value. This is, I think that was 50 cents for this whole thing, so super cheap. And all it is marjoram. I probably am pronouncing that wrong. Oregano, thyme, rosemary, savory, basil, and sage. I didn't know savory was a spice. And see, it makes quite a bit. So we're gonna cook this on low because you just want it to have kind of a nice gentle simmer, and that will really infuse the oil and the seasonings so that it makes it a nice Italian, yummy flavored sauce for our lasagna. Just as a side note, you really probably want to store your tomato products in a glass container because the acidity in the tomatoes will eat away the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of water. I thought that this would be a little bit more liquidy, but since we're going to be cooking it for a little while, some of that moisture is going to come out. And right now, it's actually about the thickness I want it. So that's about what I'm sorry, I didn't measure that, but. All right, so this is about an hour on low. So you can see we're back to where we were before I added the water. So like I said, that's basically, this is the consistency I want. And you notice that you've got all that really good seasoning in there. Interesting thing, if you have food that's really bland, you can eat a lot more of it. I would recommend trying to keep your stuff full of flavor because there's just something about it. I don't know what the science is exactly, but I know that if you eat more flavorful food or spicier food, you'll get full faster. I don't like spicy food, but I do like good flavor. Okay, so here is our eggplant, and you can definitely feel it. It'll feel almost papery as far as the dryness goes. Not that, I mean, obviously it's a little squishy, but bloop, bloop, bloop. It's there's not really any excess water coming off, which is what I wanted. Is the perfect dryness of what I want to put in my lasagna. For our cheeses, we're going to do some feta, which is awesome. We're going to do some cheap Parmesan because that's just what I have. If you have freshly grated, that would probably be better. And we're going to do some mozzarella. 1/4 cup of the feta. 1/4 cup of Parmesan. 12 ounces. So there we go. We got 12 ounces of cheese. So the next step is just going to do the layering, which is very simple. So I like to start with a layer of sauce first, and then we'll do my layer of eggplant. There's a layer of eggplant. Cool thing about eggplant is that it tears really easy, so it's not that hard to make it all fit exactly the way you want it to fit, so that there's nothing, no open gaps or anything, because you can literally just tear it. And voila! I've mixed up our cheese so that it's all combined real good. Wow, that sounded super bizarro. Spread that out. And then we'll just do this again and again. Very last layer, when you kind of know you're reaching the top, do note that I did put the sauce down and then the cheese, because, I don't know, just feels like you should have the cheese on top, not on the bottom. And I did about 1/4 cup of sauce. This was quite a bit of eggplant. Honestly, I have a little bit left still. Probably could have got away with doing, you know, a little bit less. It would have made it a little less carby too. And use the same amount of sauce, but it'll still be delicious. So we're going to cook this at 400 degrees for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. We'll kind of check on the texture of the eggplant, so it'll kind of vary. Okay, so real quick, I threw some aluminum foil on it after 30 minutes because the cheese was nice and brown like I like, but the eggplant wasn't quite done. But now it is, so it was 40 minutes altogether. You just basically want to be able to stick your fork in and kind of twirl it, and the eggplant should come apart really easy, and that's how you know that it's done. That is my finished product. I'll plate it up and take a picture so you can see the delicious eggplant lasagna. Alright, here it is.